paradise. Crystal water and palm trees. From a distance, Runit Island looks like a paradise. Crystal blue water, white sand, palm trees swaying in warm Pacific winds, but beauty can be deceiving. A tiny dot in the Pacific Ocean, hiding one of the most radioactive secrets on Earth. Hidden beneath this island's stunning shoreline is one of the world's darkest secrets. A massive concrete dome filled with the radioactive remains of 67 nuclear detonations. Tourists see turquoise, scientists see danger. Islanders see a ticking time bomb. What appears to be paradise is actually a contaminated crater holding enough plutonium to poison entire ecosystems. A tropical postcard hiding a nuclear wound the world tried to forget. Between 1948 and 1958, the United States conducted 67 nuclear tests here. Some were small, some were monstrous. Before 1954, nuclear tests in the Pacific were massive, but they were understood. Scientists had equations, they had predictions, they had control. Then came Castle Bravo. At dawn on March 1st, a weapon unlike any before, it was lowered into a lagoon at Bikini Atoll. When the device detonated, it didn't just explode, it multiplied. Feeding on a nuclear reaction the designers underestimated. The result was not a 5-megaton test, but a 15-megaton monster, the largest the United States had ever created. This blast didn't fit on the charts. It broke the formulas. It exceeded every boundary the scientists thought existed. The Castle Bravo test exploded with the force of 15 megatons, 1,000 times more than Hiroshima. It vaporized islands, it poisoned the air, and fallout drifted far beyond anyone expected.
The awful roar of the blast, equal to a discharge of 60,000 depth charges, each weighing 600 pounds, strikes the ears of the observers. Many miles away, the raging might of searing flame, crushing force, and deadly radioactive water is seen falling in a killing mist as the great circular wall of sea closes in on the guinea pig fleet. The combined forces let loose, swamp the nearby ships, and crush their thickly armored hulls like cardboard.
Fast forward to the late 1970s. The US wanted to resettle the islands. There was just one problem. Everything was still radioactive, so the military started a cleanup operation. They scraped contaminated topsoil, debris, and weapons-grade plutonium into one giant crater left behind from a previous nuclear blast. That crater was on Runit Island, and what did they do next? They poured concrete over it. The crater was filled with roughly 110,000 cubic yards of radioactive waste. Then it was sealed with a concrete dome. This is Runit Dome, also known as the Tomb. For decades, it was forgotten, but the sea hasn't forgotten. The cracks haven't stopped growing, and the danger hasn't gone away. The dome was never meant to be permanent. The concrete was only expected to last about 50 years. Unlike modern containment domes, the Runit Dome has no interior liner, no waterproof membrane, no steel reinforcement under the slab, no secondary containment layer, no anchoring system to hold it to the ground. Rising seawater can and does flow directly underneath the dome. The dome's main structure is a single concrete cap made from 358 concrete panels, each roughly 18 inches thick. Arranged like slices of a giant pie, these panels were cast on site and lifted into position over the crater. After the panels were placed, workers sealed the seams between each slab with grout and joint filler. A thin surface coating of concrete slurry was brushed over the top to smooth it. This surface wash is not a structural layer, just a finishing coat to close visible gaps. Inside, you'll find contaminated soil, nuclear debris, scrap metal, a little bit of miscellaneous stuff, and the most dangerous ingredient, plutonium-239, radioactive with a half-life of 24,000 years. Cracks are spreading. Storm surges wash over the top. Salt water eats away at the concrete, turning it into chalk. Meaning, the dome will crumble long before the waste stops being dangerous. Putting a concrete cap over the crater didn't stop the contamination beneath it. It just covered the top, but everything below stayed connected to the ocean. It was essentially a convenient place to pile waste and cap it, engineers knew. The ground underneath was porous. The waste would stay in contact with groundwater, and the dome would eventually crack. It was never meant to isolate the waste, only to keep it from blowing away in the wind. Declassified documents reveal the dome was only meant as a temporary cover, not a permanent containment structure. The official 2020 report by U.S. Department of Energy calls the structure a containment structure, but clarifies that the waste was placed in an unlined nuclear test crater and then encapsulated in concrete waste pile before being capped with an exterior concrete cap. That is described as non-load bearing, meaning it was never engineered as a robust vault, but rather a simple cover to reduce wind and water erosion of the waste pile below. In congressional hearings from the early 1980s, U.S. officials admitted the site would remain indefinitely quarantined because of subsurface levels of plutonium. The Department of Energy report recognizes that the main risk is from contaminated groundwater flowing from beneath the containment structure into the marine environment, not from a structural collapse of the dome itself. That means even if the dome was perfect, which it isn't, the environment around it is already contaminated on a much larger scale. Because these findings come from official, declassified U.S. documents and recent laws, they undermine claims that the dome is a safe, sealed nuclear vault. Instead, the evidence shows it was a cost-saving, temporary measure, never engineered to the standards required for long-term disposal of high-level radioactive waste. The dome is often portrayed as the main hazard, but the truth is even more disturbing. There is more radioactive material in the lagoon and surrounding sediments than inside the dome itself. For many Marshallese families, the fallout didn't end in the 1950s. Cancer rates increased, traditional fishing grounds became hazardous. So in the end, the truth about the Runit Dome is this: it looks like a nuclear vault, but it was never built to be one. The waste inside was dumped straight onto sand in an unlined crater created by a nuclear blast, then capped with a thin layer of concrete that was never designed to last forever, and never meant to seal anything completely. Declassified U.S. documents confirmed what many feared. The dome is more of a temporary cover than a containment structure. Groundwater flows underneath it, tides pass through it, and the lagoon around it already holds more radioactive material than what's locked beneath the concrete. If rising seas, storms, or time itself break this dome open, the consequences won't respect borders. This isn't just the Marshall Islands issue. It's a global one, and as we move into a future shaped by climate change, the question isn't just what will happen to the dome, but whether the world will finally take responsibility for the dangers it has left behind. The Runit Dome isn't just a structure, it's a warning. A symbol of what happens when short-term solutions are used to solve long-term problems. a reminder that even the most remote places on Earth are connected to all of us.